Okay, so I want to do this video about the Catholic Church here in town in Visalia because it's a crazy story. And I'm going to have to do two videos, probably covering the same thing, but more leaning on the drugs and one then more leaning on the exorcism. Okay, so you may hear, if you listen to like Coast to Coast or any of these types of shows, you may hear about them talking about the Catholic churches getting like, more exorcists, and they've had to hire more exorcists, and oh God, demon possession's out of control, and like, oh, so, well, I don't really believe in all the Catholic exorcism. I haven't. I mean, like I said, I don't believe a lot of stuff anyways, but I don't necessarily subscribe to all that. And so I got to hear a real live account of what the Catholic Church is doing in secret. And I know personally two, possibly three, because I don't know exactly if this is the same person, three people that were men who are gay men who were taken advantage of by Catholic priests. And so when they were young. And so, and I think one of them went to jail. I think one of the priests actually went to jail. And so I know that, I mean, that's okay. There's all kinds of, well, not okay, but you know what I mean? Like, that's okay for the presentation of what I'm saying, to say that, you know, churches kind of have problems because people are people, and there's assholes that always work their way into those kinds of positions of power and authority, and, you know, like deify, so they can deify themselves, you know, and be like God and be up there and tell everybody, you know. So it's like, okay. But this is a little bit weird, because where I am from, it's like one of the meth capitals of the United States. So we have a lot of meth here, and a lot of the homeless population is doing meth. My dad works at one of the soup kitchens, and I mean, he says that some of the people are actually getting off of it because it's just so bad. Like, it's like actually getting to the point where they're like, we can't do it anymore. And like, and then there's people who are not getting off, like the young people. The older people, they just realize eventually like they can't do it, or they're gonna die. But like the young people, I mean, it's just so bad. Now they're doing this thing called speedballing. Oh my God, man. I mean, they told me that, I was like, shit, people are just going crazy. But that's a whole other issue with the drugs. I won't get into too much of the drug part of it, except to say that people were having shared hallucinations. And the shared hallucination was of demonic babies. And the one lady said she saw him, and then the guy was freaking out, saying you're not supposed to see them, because he was freaking out because they were seeing the same thing, and he had already convinced himself when he saw these things that, of course, he was just tripping balls, right? And when she said she saw them, he flipped. He totally flipped, and she flipped out because of the way, because, you know, it's like the realization that something weird was happening. So the story is that she found out that they were putting a substance in the drug, that they were cutting it with something that's like a mind control substance, and that they were actually possibly using mind control, and they used some cursed grinder. I'm not even shitting you, like a cursed mortar pestle grinder, and like it's like black magic that they do, and the sorcerer controls everything, like what they're going to be seeing, their hallucinations. They can even have them like commit crimes for them and stuff. So I was like, whoa, tripping out on that. But then when I was on the radio station talking to people from the radio station, they had heard of that. I wasn't like unheard of them. To me, it was just like, wow, that's trip out. That happens like on the north side. Like I live on the north side of town, so that happens like pretty close to me. That's nuts. They have some like old like witch doing, I don't know. It's just, to me in my own mind, it's really theatrical. But who knows? I mean, I don't know who it is, but it's weird, right? That people are like actually doing this stuff. Even if the witchcraft part of it doesn't work, but like maybe the drug does, it's still weird. So the babies. So they saw these two babies, and that was weird because they're like cherubs. I thought they were interesting because it's like cherubs, and cherubs are actually really, you know, demons. And so so when I'm getting this story from somebody, I know all this esoteric information, but they don't. So they're just telling me the story, and I'm going, oh my God, that's so crazy, because like cherubs are like baby demons, you know. I was like, well, they're not baby demons, but they're like a type of weird creature that they show like that. Whether they look like that or not, I don't know. But like that's just the myth. And so basically, here it is. The wife got upset and went to the Catholic Church. She got scared. She got fucking scared, right? She got scared of the demon babies, and she went to the Catholic Church and talked to Jesus. And so she said, that they came to her house and they were like, before we come in, you need to, make an oath that, of course she broke the oath, make an oath that, or a promise that you are not going to tell anybody about this, and your whole family needs to be involved, and they also need to agree that they won't tell anybody about what happens here, or we can't do it. And she said that's fine, and she entered into whatever agreement that she needed to with them. And they took her into the room in her house, and they turned off all the lights, and they laid her on the ground, and all her family was around her. Everybody was standing around her, and they started to perform a ritual on her, and kind of like an exorcism, but they don't know what language they were speaking, and they don't know what they were doing. And then all of a sudden, it was like she was gone, poof, not here anymore. And she says she remembers hearing the kids screaming, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom? What'd you do with my mom? Where's our mom?" And they're all screaming, "Where's our mom?" Freaking out, screaming. And she says she could hear, but they could not see her. Then she popped back. And ever since then, she's obviously been off of drugs, and it's been completely different. But then it was kind of strange, because then when my friend Sheila tried to text her and be like, what was that about that grinder, or that the black magic that they're doing on the meth? And then the girl was like texting back, kind of weird. I was there. It was weird, but I don't know what the conversation was they had before that, or what the truth really was about anything in reality at that time regarding this person's life. But I was just like, taking the whole situation in, and it was a little bit weird. She's like, "Oh, just don't worry about that. You're better than that." She didn't want to talk about it. It's almost like she was afraid to talk about it, or I don't know. It was just weird. And so she didn't want to talk about it. So we didn't get any more information about what the Catholic Church did, but maybe she wasn't supposed to talk about it, so she wasn't trying to. But that's the story, that they did some sort of exorcism, and she disappeared. And her family was screaming, "Where's my mom? What'd you do with my mom?" And then she popped back into reality and was laying there, and she's been changed ever since. So what do you think? Do you think that they actually put a different spirit in her, like Stepford Wives, where they will take people who seemed out of control, or maybe they seemed demonic because they were like crazy, and then they went and they put switched them out, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, they switch them out with somebody else, and someone's like with the program, and like playing all the rules totally with the program. And so people have perceived them as being like a new wonderful person, but really they're just like playing the part, but they have a dark soul, or they're like malicious intentions or something. So you never really know. But I would like to think that maybe they pulled, I don't know, but why would they do that? I mean, people have been doing like weird exorcisms and doing things like that for a long time. Like, what are they doing that is making someone disappear? Think about that. The Catholic Church in Visalia, this bitch disappeared and then reappeared. Her family was screaming, "Where's my mom?" And then she was laying on the floor, and then it was like, boom, she was there. So I don't know. I'm interested to know what other people think. I don't know a whole lot about the Catholic Church from a personal perspective. I've only been to Catholic Church once, and it was charismatic, and like Westchester, Ohio, or something like that. So I'm not the person to be an expert on Catholicism, other than what I've just researched. Other than experiencing Catholics, a lady told my friend the other day, "Well, and then Jesus left and started his ministry, and that's when he started the Catholic Church." And she was like, I knew at that moment that I couldn't talk to my mom about it. I had to just be like, "Whoa, dude, I'm not fucking with that paradigm." And she was like backing out of the conversations. Like me, I'll pop someone's bubble. Like you have to. But it's her mom, she lives with her, like whatever still. So she's just like, "Oh, whoa, like are you saying that Jesus started the Catholic Church?" And she was like, "Yeah, of course. Jesus started the Catholic Church." And she was like, "Whoa, trip out. Like, there's a fucking statue to Peter, right?" I'm all, what? What do you mean? Like, I know enough just from like watching movies and where there's Catholic factoids, like to know that like Jesus did not start the Catholic Church. Like that is some bullshit. But anyways, it's kind of crazy. So, but that's what the Catholic Church is doing here in town. And I don't know that that's an exorcist. I don't know that I've ever heard of anybody disappearing during exorcism. But have you? Have you heard anything like this? That's what I wanted to know. I was going to come out and ask anybody, like, have you heard this shit? Because I had never heard of anything like this until now. And I did have an experience with a demon, which I'll do a separate video of, and he like turned inside out. So I do think there's something going on weird with like the dimensional buffers right now. But it's interesting. It's definitely worth a look-see, right? So leave a comment. Let me know. Or if you don't want to talk about it live, or in public, you can shoot me a text message or find me on find me on Facebook. I am Tony Lincoln, Toni Lincoln, and it has a dove, and it says Melchizedek Melchizedek on it. Ancient and sovereign, has a dove with a golden chalice. It's just like an emblem. So find me on there, and let me know what you think about this, because I'm interested to know.